All right. We're live. We're live on both Instagram and YouTube right now. We have our speaker roundup this evening. What's up, ladies?
Hi.
Hi. Everybody's like, I love it. I love it. So we've got some people that are logging on Instagram right now. Ladies that are logging on Instagram, if you'd like to go over to YouTube, you'll be able to see everybody up on our screen and everything as we go through our little speaker roundup for Cuties Conquering the Stage 2023. If you don't want to go to YouTube, that's fine. You'll be able to hear everything over here, but you're just going to be looking at my face, so that's it. So welcome, guys. Welcome. I always give it about 3 minutes for everybody to get on and get settled in and get ready to go. Say hi when you come on so it pops up in the chat. And as we're getting ready for everyone to get on here, as always, if you'd like to come work with me, SusanPosing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. But this evening, we have a roundup with all of our ladies from Cuties Conquering the Stage. Devin, I see you just logged on Instagram. You're supposed to be over here. If you can get on your link, Devin, if you hear me, I'll add you onto the stream. So, welcome, guys. Welcome to my speakers. You guys see all the comments stuff coming in the chat? Can you see that?
Yes.
You can see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. What's up, guys? What's up? So, like I said, we're going to give it a couple minutes. We still got quite a few people logging on live here. As you're logging on, say hello. Hi, guys. We got a lot of girls on here right now that are coming to Cuties Conquering the Stage. I can see that. What link? The one that I sent you in your email, Devin. Go check your email from, was it Monday that I sent it out? What day was it?
It's in the same thread as the one you sent today. So
yeah, I sent it today. I sent one today too. Yeah, I did send one today.
So check the top of that one.
There.
Yeah, Friday the 14th you sent it.
Okay. Yeah, if you can get that link, then I can add you onto the stream here.
I'll DM her on Instagram too.
Look at you.
Love it.
You. You've done this whole podcast thing a few times.
I know how this goes.
So tonight, you guys, we're just going to kind of chat a little bit. I'm going to let the ladies introduce themselves, tell you all a little bit about themselves. You guys can ask questions as we go along. If they say something that sparks your interest, sparks a question in your mind, feel free to type it into the chat, and I'll pull up questions as we go along for everybody to answer. But to start out, we're just going to start with everybody kind of introducing themselves, letting us know who they are, their background in the sport, and outside of the sport too, because we like to know those kinds of things too. So with that, who would like to go first?
I'll go again.
Oh, look, we got volunteers. Okay.
We want to spare others.
Jamie has conditioned me to always volunteer first. That's what happens when Jamie mentors you.
So proud.
I love it.
Speaking of that, I'm Hannah DeVore. I've been on Fit Body Fusion for 8.5 years. And I'm an IFBB bikini pro. I turned pro in 2015 at Nationals in Miami. I've been with Jamie for all 8.5 years. And in my other life, I work in marketing and I just left the corporate world, but I did 15 years in food and beverage marketing. So I have a really deep understanding of how our food is made and marketed. And I try to incorporate that into my coaching because unfortunately I know a little too much about what's in our food. So yeah, and I live in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, I didn't know you lived in Buffalo. I went to college in Rochester.
Yeah, I just moved here a few years ago for a boy.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck with your winter coming up. That's one thing I hated about upstate New York was the winters.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, so let's move to Celeste since she volunteered next. There you go. Go for it.
Alrighty. Well, I have been competing since 2015. I've done 13 shows. I'm competing in the NPC. Just entered an improvement season though. And outside of competing, I specialize in helping competitors with their relationship with food, their body image, and their overall identity with regard to their goals. That looks like running live events. That's been a big thing lately, or contributing to amazing ones like this. My one-on-one coaching that does not include fitness or nutrition. I leave that to you guys. You guys are the experts. And then I also have my podcast, Confessions of a Bikini Pro. So I've gotten the amazing opportunity to talk to pretty much everyone on here except for Julia and Jazzy. But me and Jazzy have connected in person. So I'm really looking forward to bringing the mental health aspect to this event.
Awesome. I love it. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
I will go next.
Oh, we got two. All right. We're going to go Jazzy next, and then we'll go Jamie. How's that?
Okay.
There we go.
Hi, guys. I'm Jazzy. I'm 17 and got my pro card in that same year. I've been with Fit Body Fusion coach by a little over a year now, and I do coach for Fit Body Fusion, and I do coach and posing coaching as well. Prior to competing, I did military with the Marine Corps for about 5 years, and in my last for 6 years, in my last year, I was competing actively and was able to earn my pro card just shortly after getting out of active.
Awesome. Wonderful. Happy Wednesday. This is fabulous. I'm just going to highlight a wonderful comment right there. Oh, love it. Love it. Okay, let's move into Jamie next. So we'll pull Jamie up. There we go.
So I'm Jamie DeBernard, founder of Fit Body Fusion, and I was a figure competitor, retired now. So I turned pro in 2011 at the USA's and competed in the Olympia in 2011 and 2012. Didn't really start competing till I was in my late 30s. So really kind of transitioned quickly into coaching, and I absolutely love it. It's my passion. It's what I do from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed. But my background is I have an MBA. I did all my coursework for my PhD in holistic nutrition, also master's in kinesiology. And I was vice president, executive vice president of Fortune 50 in my corporate life. Before coming out and starting the team, and also a college professor, adjunct professor, internet marketing and marketing management. So I have a lot of facets.
Awesome. I'm going to try and add Devin on here, but I think we're missing her video. So Devin, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
So I don't know.
It
Sorry,
says my
us?
video's on.
Yeah, we have no video for you. I mean, if you can
Oh,
hear, oh,
there
there
she
we
is.
go. We got you. We got
I
you.
had the little thing covering my camera. No wonder.
You're here. You made it. I love it.
I
Awesome.
need help with this, apparently.
You're prep for the Olympia. We'll give you a pass. We'll give you a pass. All right. So who we got next? Who wants to go next? Julia, Natalie? Oh,
I'll
we
go.
got Julia. There we go. All right.
All right, Julia Waring. I went pro in 2017, started competing in 2015. Before I started competing, I was in the Army, got out in 2013 and transitioned to the civilian world. So I'm actually an engineer for the Army full time. So I continue to do that while I compete. I also am a posing coach, so virtually and online. I also do lifestyle coaching. I don't do nutrition for competitors anymore, but I do work with competitors with online training programs. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. And I live in Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Awesome. I'm going to highlight this one really quickly because they didn't know that you were a figure competitor, Jamie.
Yes.
She actually went to the Olympia twice, right? Went to the Olympia twice?
Right. Yep. 2011 and 2012.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So back when, got to keep in mind, back when figure really looked much more like bikini does today.
Yeah.
If
won my
I
pro
was
card.
competing in today's world, I would be bikini with the physique I had in 2011 and 2012 for sure.
And I say that all the time. I won my pro card in 2013. It's the same thing. I would definitely be bikini. Same thing. Absolutely. So, okay. So let's bring Natalie back in. So Natalie, go for it.
Hi, my name is Natalie Matthews, IFBB Bikini Pro. I actually started competing in 2017, went pro in 2018, and I'm currently getting ready to jump into another season after taking a 2-year off season, which I'm really excited for because I made significant improvements. I do YouTube. I do lots of things in social media. I mostly share my journey as an IFBB Bikini Pro and being vegan. And yeah, that's kind of like what I do. I love sharing like high protein vegan recipes, meal prep ideas, do's and don'ts, and kind of like share that with everyone so they know how to like approach a plant-based lifestyle as a bodybuilder.
Awesome. Love it. All right. So we got Devin up. So tell us a little bit about you.
So I'm Devin Cambry, IFBB Wellness Pro. Started competing. My first show was in 2013. I originally started bikini, then took 2 years off whenever I had my son, and when I came back as wellness, and that's where I turned pro, was in wellness. Currently, I work as an emergency room registered nurse, and I also do posing coaching, and I do some prep and lifestyle coaching as well.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay. And then for those of you that don't know me, which you should, because this is my channel. Hi. I am Sean Hector Lewis, and this is my event, Cuties Conquering the Stage. All of these ladies, as well as more, will be joining us as our featured speakers this year in January over the Martin Luther King weekend, Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. A lot of ladies that are on chat right now are coming to the event, but then there are several ladies who are thinking about it, so we're trying to entice them. But we're also going to tell them a little bit about what they can expect, a little bit about what this weekend is about, a little more in depth, so you can get to know these speakers and these ladies before the weekend begins. So for those of you that are logging on now or that have been on for the last few minutes or whatever, thank you for saying hello. First of all, we always appreciate that. And also feel free to type in any questions that you may have for our speakers. It's your birthday. I love that. And you're coming. So that's awesome. We got a birthday girl that'll be there that weekend. Type in your questions that you have for any of the speakers that you have here as we go along. I have a list of things that they're each going to talk about a little bit so you can get to know them a little bit more. And then we'll pull your questions and stuff too. So feel free. We want to make this very interactive. So feel free to ask as we go along, right? This is life-changing. Promise it will blow past your expectations. So Christina was there last year. So she's coming back this year too. There you go. Awesome. Okay, so next thing that we're going to do is, look at all the comments. I love it. I'm getting like ADD. So the next question that we have for each of our ladies is one fun fact about you that others may not know. This can be in relation to anything. It can be in relation to your normal life. It can be in relation to bodybuilding, whatever you may want to say. It is something fun about you. I'll start. I grew up on a farm. I grew up raising pigs and chickens and ducks and goats. I literally have trophies that have pigs on top of them. So that's a fun fact about me. Who's next? Who'd like to go next? Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
All right.
The oldest of 6 kids and the youngest just turned 18 this year. So I'm great. They're almost 30 years of raising children. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm the oldest too, but not of 6. That's for sure. So who's next? Who's got a fun one?
I'll go next.
Here we go. Go for it.
So I grew up in Puerto Rico, so I never got to experience like fall. So my sick obsession now that I'm in the States is anything fall. Like we never got to see like
the basic white girl.
Yeah, basically. I never got to live it until late 20s, so I'm like making up for it now.
Oh, all the pumpkin spice everything, right?
Yeah, we never get to see like stages of like the seasons or anything like that. So I never had like any of the pumpkin foods or anything that you guys have over here. So it's kind of cool to like experience it now.
That's like my favorite, like pumpkin everything, but also apple. Apple is a very underrated fall treat. Anything apple. Yes, agree. Who's next?
I'll go next. I actually have a question for Natalie too. Are you still in California?
I'm currently in California, not for long though. I'm a military wife, so we move every 3 to 4 years, and we're getting ready to move next summer. I don't know where. So
Okay, I was like, there's no fault from when I lived in California. I was like,
no.
You're like all happy when it's like slightly gray outside, like, oh wow, fall is here. So my fun fact is I collect nesting dolls. You know, the ones where you like twist it and then the next one comes out and the next one.
Oh, wow. How many do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like at least over 10.
Oh, gosh. I think those would be creepy for me. Like when you talk about like little dolls and stuff. My aunt used to collect dolls, and she had a whole room of her house that was full of dolls, and it was so creepy because they were.
Well, were they the porcelain dolls that like have? So those look really realistic, but at least these are like babushkas, so they're like a little different.
Okay, I still think I'd be freaked out, but Who's next?
I can go.
All right.
Here, I can show you guys. I'm learning how to play the synthesizer this winter. And I have like a studio in my house.
Okay, so now you have to bring the synthesizer to CCTS.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'll be like Ross. Remember that one episode of Friends where Ross was playing the keyboard? That would be me. I'd be like, no, I figure if it's going to snow all winter, I'm going to learn how to play the piano. And I got like a cool synthesizer, and Andy and I are going to play some music.
I love it. That's awesome. Who's next?
I'll go next. Y'all
All
have
right.
some very interesting stuff. So I would say fun facts, interesting facts about me. If I had a choice, I would probably live in Asia. So I know I just came back from Japan, but when I was in the military, I spent a lot of time in like Philippines, Thailand, like every part of Asia. So in like my dream world, I would live probably in
It's
Asia.
funny. I've never been over there, but everyone that I've talked to that has a similar sentiment. They freaking love it. Like it's just beautiful.
I love it. So interesting. And I love to travel.
Yeah, awesome. Who's next? This fact.
I don't know how fun my facts are. I just try to
I see Jamie over there like contemplating talking.
This was this question for me because I'm like, what's a fun fact? I mean, the thing that surprises me that a lot of people are surprised about me is that I have 2 kids. My daughter is 26, and she'll actually be at the Spectrum show in San Antonio if anybody's going to be there presenting awards. So if you see a 26-year-old little beautiful girl up there, that's my baby. And I have a 27-year-old son who actually competed. He did North Americans years ago, but isn't competing anymore. So sometimes people are surprised about that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. All right, Devin, I think you're the only one left. So give me a fun fact about you.
Fun facts, pretty much anytime before the 5th grade, I grew up like as a tomboy. So I always wanted to play baseball, even though I sucked at sports. I was put in softball, but I was terrible at it, and I was mad that I couldn't play baseball with the boys. And then I actually used to ride motocross too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did.
Cool.
I used to ride dirt bikes for a while until like 5th grade. I think like puberty hit, and then I decided I wanted to be a girl all of a sudden. So.
I know that feeling. That was the same thing with me when I was younger. I played basketball with the boys. I mean, you couldn't tell because I'm not tall enough or anything like that. Especially when I was a kid, I was taller than everybody. Like when I went to high school, I was scared going in as a freshman, and I was taller than everybody when I went into high school, even the seniors. So I was like, oh, I don't know what I was afraid about. But yeah, I played basketball with the boys. So yeah, I feel you on that one. So we actually got a question that came in. So I'm gonna highlight this and have you answer it, Jamie. This is a question for you. So it says for Jamie, you're in high demand for top tier competitors. Are you selective with your clients? For example, do you take on clients that are in a certain fat percentage range?
So that's not one of the criteria that I look at when I'm taking on new competitors. And I mean, to kind of explain me not taking on a lot of competitors, my philosophy has been, because of my prior experience, that I never wanted to be that coach that just took on so many competitors that I didn't have the bandwidth to really properly coach each person. And I give a lot to my athletes. So I want to be able to have the time and energy and all of that to do that. And at this point, I'm most, my focus was finding the best of the best coaches that I possibly could, so that when people did join the team, even though we're such a big team, I wanted them to have that feeling like they're the only competitor that coach is coaching. I want them to feel like that person's like really, connected with them. So my focus has really been a lot right now in coaching the coaches. So I don't bring on a lot of new athletes. For the most part, I'm coaching the coaches, and then some of the pro athletes I am coaching. Because it, in a lot of cases, I think it helps to have that person who's coaching that's not, currently competing and that kind of thing. So it's not a body fat percentage or anything like that. It's really kind of, more, how well personalities work together and that kind of thing. And I loved working with newer athletes, but at this point, my specialty is really in, taking those pro athletes and taking them from being good pro athletes to being the best versions of themselves. So I hope that explains it.
Yeah. And actually, Melissa's on our live feeds quite a bit, and she's brand new, so not a competitor or anything like that. So it makes sense why that would be something that she would think would be a criteria piece. You know what I mean? But it's that makes complete sense. And actually, we talked about this yesterday because we reviewed the Titans show yesterday, and Jordan was actually on our live on Instagram while we were reviewing that and talking about how I think she's played her strategy really, really well this year. And that's something that you help her with, right, Jamie?
So Sean, I have a question for Jamie too. So I'm always trying to recommend coaches that I feel like I can trust, right? Because in this industry, you can't trust all coaches. And my coach's bandwidth gets too tight sometimes. So you're known for bikini, but do you feel like figure athletes is also something that yourself or your team specializes in? I've noticed that bikini is like your thing.
Yeah, I mean, I really do focus on bikini. I do have a small number of wellness athletes, but I'm not really coaching a whole lot of figure athletes at this point. I did bring on some incredible people that are coaching figure. So if you're familiar with Rhea, she just won a couple of shows back to back. She is phenomenal. I mean, I met her and just was so incredibly impressed with her communication style, her delivery, her knowledge. And then I have Julie Mayer, who's also with me. And she and I competed together back in the day. And when I retired, she kept competing. She's been to, several Olympias. She's been coaching for a really long time. So really brought those ladies on to specialize in figure. Because, I mean, I do feel like we all, find our lane in those things that we're really good at. And like what Sean said, in terms of coming up with strategies for my athletes, like that's a big part of what I'm doing, what shows I'm picking for them, how, for me, a lot of it is that constant communication with the judges. What are they looking for? How do I deliver on that? Because at that pro level, it's just a split hair that's, the difference in being in the first call outs and not being in the first calls, because everybody looks so great. So, for me, I love this strategy and I love figuring out, how to really get the most out of, each opportunity, each athlete, the career, the whole thing. So for me, I really have focused in that bikini lane, and gotten really, really good at it. And then I do, I work with Rita Paulson, I work with Brooke Donnelly. They both coach for the team. And so I do work with coaching those coaches as well. But yeah, bikini is definitely my main focus.
There you go. Good. All right. So I'm going to mention again, for those of you that are on Instagram with us right now, we have the whole panel up on YouTube. So you can search for Sean's Couture Cuties on YouTube. That'll pull our channel up and you'll be able to see us all on there. For those of you that are here on YouTube, thank you for joining us. If you're just joining us now, and feel free to comment in if you have any questions as we move along. And we're going to move on to our next question, which is, if you've been to CCTS in the past, because this is our 8th year coming up, what was your favorite part of it? And if you haven't been there yet, what are you most looking forward to? Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first.
Oh, I'll pull Natalie up this time, then we'll go with Julia. There we go.
So I told Sean before this, I've been stalking the Cuties Conquering the Stage for years, and I wanted to attend, and I just always had something during that weekend. So I'm really excited to attend this year and be a speaker and learn from all these amazing ladies, really, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, really.
Yeah, that's the coolest part. I say that all the time too. I'm like, I know I run this event, but I learn stuff every year.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so we'll pull up Julia next.
Yeah. So my main reason is that even though I'm a pro and I've been one for years, I always learn something from the other speakers, like always. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, how many times you come back. There's always going to be like a new nugget that you can learn. And also from a speaker standpoint, it gives us a platform to give back, right? Because we're always looking for, ways that we can give back and share our knowledge and experience. So for me, that's what keeps me excited about continuing to come back. So thank you, Sean, for the repeat invite. So
You're welcome. Well, I will say too, you're a phenomenal speaker, and that's one of the main reasons we bring you back every year. That's something I always look for as far as qualities when it comes to bringing in speakers, is that they need to be able to actually communicate what they want to communicate, and you're actually really, really good at that. So how many years have you come now? I don't even remember.
this will be my 4th year.
I'm like, you've been there a while. you're one of our OGs. I love it. I love it. You even came to one of our summer ones too.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm counting that one in, but it's definitely it's 3 or 4. So I think 4. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
This one was hard to answer just because there's so many things I love about this event. But I would say if I had to pick the thing I love the most, it's really the inspiration and connection with the other ladies. Every time I leave the event, I'm on fire. Like, I'm just so excited about life, about the things I've learned, about the connections I've made, and just literally, like, we laugh, we cry, there's just so much inspiration. I was blown away the first time I came to the event. I wouldn't dream of not being there.
I love hearing that. That's the best part. That's one of the things I think with our sport is, like, we go to these show weekends and they're so, like, focused on the goal of winning a show that you don't get the opportunity to sit down and actually connect with people as much as you'd like to. And this weekend you get to do that, which is really cool. Like, that's personally one of my favorite things. So I'll put that as my favorite. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
All right.
So I've been to Cuties Conquering the Stage now, I believe. I came for my first 2 years as an attendee, and then I was years as speaker.
Yep.
So my favorite thing about it, man, like, and the amount of inclusion and how intimate the entire environment feels. Actually speak with one another, make connections, like Jamie said. It's just like one of those years, the beginning of the season. It kind of like is that event that just jump starts, like, feel inspired to go after all of your goals after all of the holidays and the slowdown of the season. You have that amazing girl time that just brings up all the glitter, glam, fun. I love it. I love it. I look forward to like the year now.
And you're a great, testimonial of this too, because you came in your first year and you won the Rookie of the Year award that year. Now look at you as a speaker, right?
Yes. Great.
So take note, ladies. Take note. You could start off as just a basic IFBB bikini pro because you just won your pro card your first year. So that's pretty cool when you start thinking about it like that. So who's next? Who'd like to go next?
I'll go.
Right.
I have not been before. I feel super left out now, so I'm excited to come.
Well, you're new, and so is Celeste, and so is Natalie.
Yeah.
So it's okay. You're part of the group now. You're part of the family.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet some new people. I'm up here in Buffalo. I'm lonely, and I love to just meet more people in the industry, more people from the East Coast, especially because I come from the West Coast. I used to go to a lot of like the Spectrum shows, and I knew a lot of those local West Coast people, but hopefully I'll get to meet some East Coast folks, and it'll be really cool to see everyone most likely in an improvement season or coming up on the end of it and seeing everyone looking well fed and healthy, I think we're all going to just be looking beautiful.
Yep. That's the cool thing too, because the amount of confidence you see some of these girls have, even in their improvement season, is fantastic. You know what I mean? Like there's so many girls that are not dieting. They've just gone through the holidays, all those kinds of things. And they get up there and they rock that off-season body, which I think is fantastic. I think,
or even pregnant.
I'm hoping, I'm trying to get fluffy by then. That's our goal. So I'm hoping you guys see me nice and plump in January.
I love it. What'd you say, Julia?
So we even have pregnant girls come.
Yeah.
Full blown 8, 9.
Yes. So twice we've had ladies that have come that are literally going to have a baby on stage. Like last year, she had her baby 2 weeks after Jenny Garcia. She had her 2 weeks baby 2 weeks after. Raven, same thing. Her first year, I think it was 2 weeks after the events when she had her baby too. And they got up on stage and they posed and they did their thing and it was phenomenal. And Jenny even wore her heels and she stood on that line in her heels. I was like, oh, more power to you, girl. More power to you. It was amazing. We've got a whole new generation of cuties that started even before birth. They were on our stage. So pretty cool. Who'd like to go next?
Okay.
All right.
So my first cuties was 2 years ago, but it was virtual because I was working a lot. So I remember I don't even think I was watching it like in real time. Sometimes I would catch it, but then sometimes I would have to like watch replays. And then last year was my first year going, but I was a speaker last year. So it was a little bit different than being an attendee. But I like being able to just be around other girls and be normal. As much as I try to portray myself as a normal person, which I am on social media, I still have people that like, they will tell me after shows like, oh, I wanted to go tell you hi, but I was nervous. And I'm like, I'm a normal person. Like I still go to my job every morning, take care of my kid. Like, and I feel that whenever I went to Cuties last year, I got a lot more experience with actually talking to girls and being able to like express to them like how normal I am. Especially after like I did my talk, I had a bunch of girls come up to me that really said that they resonated with what I said and they can relate to like my experiences. And that just makes me feel good that I can like show people that even though I'm a pro and stuff like that, I'm still normal and I still have the same normal problems that everyone else does. I'm no different in that aspect. So that's what I like the most about it, is just being able to just be kind of on a level playing field with everyone. It's like no one really cares anymore, like if you're a pro or what you did. It's just everyone's the same whenever you go to Cuties.
Yeah, and I agree with that. There's not a whole lot of places where we as women in bodybuilding can feel normal. You know what I mean? In just normal life, regular life. This is a weekend where you get to feel normal around everybody. Yeah. I think Celeste, I think you might be our last one, right? All right. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I could reiterate everything everyone said, and I'll just add on to the fact that I'm really excited about the empowerment aspect. There's something really special about seeing women who live different lives, different ages, different stages of this journey of competition come together and share their story. Like, it's not just an opportunity for us to learn or share ourselves, but actually learn from others just in what they've experienced in life. I love that aspect. And like, being in the flesh with people who maybe recognize or know you or who have communicated with you on Instagram or social media, like meeting in person and putting like that soul connection in a body and being able to have that. I just love that aspect of it. So I'm really excited about that. And I've also been hearing things about Cuties conquering the stage for years, and this is like a dream come true for me. So that's going to be really cool to fulfill that as well.
Awesome. I love it. Yes, I hear that a lot. And it inspires me to make it better every year because I'm like, oh, these girls are like, I'm making dreams come true. I feel like Mickey Mouse. Like, like Bobby with a little.
Bippity boppity boo.
I love it. I love it. So before we go on to our next question, we've got a bunch of them that are coming into the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight a couple of them here. So let's see what we got.
Sean, can I add one more before we move on?
Absolutely. Go for it.
I had to add is that one of the things that really blew me away is the body positivity.
Yeah.
Like people are coming in at all different phases. There's people that have never competed before and maybe they have weight to lose. There's people that are in their off season. There's people that are on season. There's people that just stepped off stage. And there's just this real like openness and willingness to accept everybody, to accept themselves and to accept each other for where they are in their journey and where their bodies are. And I think that's so beautiful. Like people embracing whether they have stretch marks or cellulite or whatever, like it doesn't matter. Like, you know, we all can relate. We all can deal. And I think that's something that's so special about this event and blew my mind, you know, because I feel like there can be a lot of judgment out there in the world and it's a real safe space for women to come together. You know, a lot of us are moms, a lot of us, you know, like all those things. So I just had to throw that out there because I know we've kind of touched around it, you know, with a couple of things people have said, but that was something really special to me.
No, absolutely. And I 100% agree. I love that aspect of it. And you just see, like I said, you see people get up there on that stage that in any other facet of their life may not be able to put themselves into that kind of space, and they feel comfortable and confident doing it, which is fantastic. I love that aspect. So I'm going to pull up a couple of these questions here. It says, since we're on the topic of coaches, I don't see a lot of promotion for mentoring other coaches. I'm super interested in getting into it. Do any of you mentor upcoming coaches? Well, Jamie, you know you do. You're spotlighted right there. Anybody else? Does anybody else mentor upcoming coaches? Well, there you go. There's your answer right there.
And I would say too, like even outside of this group, I would reach out to a coach that has a team, like, you know, Jamie, if Jamie, for some reason you reach out to her and she can't. I mean, there's a lot of reputable Pro Physiques is my team. A lot of those teams, I would reach out and I wouldn't just like not try to find one. I would reach out to some of the bigger teams. So that's just my.
No, I agree. There's a lot of really great coaches out there that you're right, that can lend a helping hand as far as making you a better coach. Absolutely, yes. Let's see. I have a question for Natalie. What are your go-to sources of lean protein during prep, and do you use a plant-based protein powder? If so, which one? So Natalie, I'm going to let you kind of touch on this, but this is kind of what you're going to talk about at the event too. So yeah. So you can answer as much of this as you want and leave it up to what you're going to talk about too.
Yes. For my presentation, I'm actually covering all things vegan protein sources, how to hit it as a vegan competitor or a plant-based competitor, or just maybe somebody that just might want to add more plant-based sources into their normal diet. So I'm not here to like preach about veganism or anything. I'm just here to like share, inspire, and educate. And then my favorite protein sources are seitan and tofu for competition prep.
There you go. See,
and I do use protein.
I was gonna say I'm not a vegan, but I use her seitan recipe all the time. I like to eat kind of a mix of plant-based and not. And that recipe has been a staple in my house for probably a couple of years now.
Look at that. Love it. I love it.
Hannah's a great example. She has amazing recipes too. I love like your tofu sauce and all of that. I told you I have like a variation of that and it's so good.
Yeah. All things tofu. Yeah.
I have Hannah's muffins in the oven right now. Her protein muffins.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
My favorite source of vegan protein, I'll just throw it out there, even though not the full vegan, like Hannah says, I'm kind of a mix. I do a lot of plant-based, but I love the black bean pasta. Any of the bean pastas, like you can get so much protein in it, you know, you can add so many things to it. So it's really, to me, that's like one of the most fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. This is another one actually that is for Natalie in regard to vegan. Show this one right here. Question for Natalie: you became vegan a year ago. What's the most important advice if you have a vegan in this sport?
I mean, I think you can do it. You know, I feel like a lot of the girls message me like, oh, it wasn't until I saw you that you did it. And like a lot of coaches would tell them like, oh, I can't do it if you're not vegan. So I feel like when I first started, there wasn't a lot of vegan representation at all. And now there's so many people that are, India Polino, me, Nimai Delgado, who has been, in the Arnold stage. So there's a lot of people that have done it. So I would say if it's really important to you and your core values, then definitely stick with it. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, since we're right here with this and we're on you and you're talking about kind of what you're going to be doing at the event, let's move on to our next question, which is what do you hope to teach and train the ladies this coming CCTS weekend? So you can add to whatever you just mentioned.
Yeah, so like I said, I'll be covering all things vegan protein sources. I personally been vegan for 10 plus years now, so it's definitely possible to build muscle on a plant-based lifestyle, vegan lifestyle. I actually started my bodybuilding journey way after I was vegan, so that's another question I always get asked is, did you build your body before you went vegan? So again, just kind of hoping to share and inspire and educate so people know, there are other options out there and there's not just your standard way of doing things. There's so many different ways to approach diet. So yeah, hopefully you girls have fun and learn something, and I hope to see everyone in January.
Awesome. Who else would like to talk a little bit about what they're hoping to teach or train at the weekend this year?
I'll go. So I actually got my land up. We were talking on my stories, and I think I was going teen, like what I do, and we were just talking about me building my business and how I was able to becoming an IFBB pro, to doing my posing coaching business, websites and stuff like that. So pretty much just talking about how you can utilize the sport as a competing, can go ahead and pour into other areas and facets of life, and you can grow for this outside of the actual act of competing, whether it be coaching, hair, makeup, these different things that are avenues that you can branch off into.
Absolutely. I mean, same thing with me. I mean, what I do didn't exist until I started doing it. You know what I mean? And it all came from this sport. So it's just crazy to think about the things that you could potentially become outside of just being on stage. That's a big part of it, but that's not the only part of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about mine, but just to cover what she said, because we won't compete forever, right? But you want to stay, like, once you're in this sport, it's really hard to just step away from the sport. So I think it's really important while you're in it to find a way that for longevity, how can you always be in it? How can you always have a piece of it? So I think that I'm looking forward to that one. So thanks, Shaz.
Yeah, absolutely.
As for me, so I'm gonna do what I did last year. I took questions and I answered questions that you all brought to the plate. So I'm gonna put out a post on Facebook, and I'll probably do one on Instagram, and just ask you what do you want to know. So if it's something one of these ladies isn't already covering, then my plan is to focus on the things that you all want to know about, especially a lot of the newer competitors. So be watching out for that post on Facebook.
Yeah. And that's something that we do every year too. For those of you guys that are here joining us live in the chat, we build our whole criteria is not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Our whole schedule around what you guys want to learn, right?
Yeah.
So we take all of your feedback into account. We want to know what you want to know, and then we teach based upon that. That's one of the big reasons why I have people like Natalie coming in and talking about the veganism. I don't know anything about that, but I want to learn. I know a lot of my girls I work with posing want to learn. So I know that's something we need to talk about. And then same thing when we're bringing in Celeste, our new speakers this year, focusing on that mental aspect of the sport is a big deal. So actually, let's bring Celeste in. Go for it.
All right. Well, actually, I really love Jazzy's topic too, because I started doing what I do now for competitors because I saw the need in the industry, and that started from the podcast. So there's always something that you can do and contribute. And I think if it's in your heart and if it's in your soul and you're called to do it, go for it. It could be scary. People will tell you, oh, bodybuilding's such a niche. Don't do it. Do it. And it's like completely changed my life personally. I mean, like, I'm here now. Jazzy's here. So I just wanted to share that. But I will be speaking on, yes, mental health. And I hope that I leave everybody with the message of build more than just a body. That is the mission that I'm on. So I want to give you guys tangible tools that you can actually walk away with and take home and practice at home. So mindfulness-based eating strategies, body image practices that will support you in any phase. So whether that's prep, improvement season, or thinking about competing or stepping away from the stage, like maybe you're no longer going to do that. I hope that you can gain some insight into establishing an identity as a competitor that's not based in shoulds or what other people say or what you see online, but instead what's going to give you the most fulfilling and empowering prep, improvement season, life in this sport. So you actually have the longevity that I think a lot of times gets sacrificed because people will say, you can't have your mental health, you can't have your food relationship be healthy and compete, which I absolutely disagree with. I am going to fight against any all-in approach, and I'm going to tell you guys right now that you can absolutely do both, and it's completely comfortable, it's completely safe, and I hope that you guys feel inspired after hearing me talk and even implementing these practices too, that you can pursue this sport in a way that feels best for you, but also supports your mental health.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Who would like to go next?
I can go. Mine's sort of similar.
Okay,
Oh,
we'll bring
is
Hannah
someone
in.
else talking?
There you go.
I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Oh, you're good.
Mine's pretty quick. I'm going to be touching on the off season. And there is going to be a little, element of mental health, of course. So it's going to probably tie into Celeste stuff, which is going to, really expand on it. But I'm just going to be talking about all of the ups and downs, and hopefully it'll help us to better accept the sort of yin and yang of the improvement season. And I say accept because it's important that that we don't like push against it, and we just kind of can flow through the good and the bad days. And all of these things like building your hormones, building your metabolism, being able to travel, eat at restaurants. I have a couple of clients who are really, really good examples of this, who are prepping to go pro next year, hopefully. So I'll be talking about that.
Awesome. I saw Devin raise her hand over there, so we'll bring you in next. There you go.
So I'm going to be talking mostly about hormone health, just because I've dealt with a lot of hormone issues ever since I was younger, but I never really realized that I had hormone issues until probably like the last few years. And for people who don't know, I'm a registered nurse, so I know a lot about the Western medicine part of hormones and lab work and how it's treated and stuff like that. But over the past year, I started getting a lot more information on how it applies to bodybuilders, what is, I would say, optimal for us, how our hormones fluctuate with going into prep and then reversing off, going into off season. A lot about female hormones as well, because that's a big issue. I find that a lot of coaches deal a lot with men, and they really don't understand female hormones that well. And they just think that whatever they do for a man, they could do for a woman, just to a lesser extent. And that is completely untrue. Our hormones are very unique, and they're very necessary for a lot of the way our bodies function. So it changed a lot about the way I do things and the way I take care of myself. To the fact to where like I've kind of abandoned a lot of my Western medicine practices and what I know as a nurse that we do with patients. I treat it a lot differently now as it pertains to bodybuilding. But even for like normal people, I just think there's a lot that is misunderstood and just is not treated the best it can be treated, especially when it comes to women.
Beautiful. Love it. Yeah, and I agree. So I think the last one we have left is Jamie, right?
Yes.
There you
So I will be talking with our other coaches that will be there. Of course, Hannah's there, speaking with us, as well as Frida Paulson and Shelby Pierce. What we're doing, and this was a great idea of Sean's, so I'll give her credit for this one, is we're going to take some case studies, some that we feel like people can relate to, situations that we've had, true situations we've had with clients, and we're going to talk about how we handled these situations, how maybe we have handled them different than each other would, just to kind of give a little bit of a difference in coaching styles, and that there's not one way always to do something. So hopefully, we'll be able to touch on enough different things that each person will be able to relate to, the trials and tribulations that, maybe a particular client was going through. So this might be something that was, a mental challenge. It could be something hormonal. It could be, overtraining, undertraining, a lot of those kinds of things. We'll make sure we touch on a lot of things that we see common.
Yeah, which is a big deal. Like I said, that was my suggestion because a lot of people are stuck in old bro science, things like that, and think that the only way to the stage is tilapia and asparagus, and that's not the case. So, we want to show how having a good coach and having a good programming can get you to where you want to be, and for myself, I'm going to do kind of an updated version of what I did a few years ago, which was the perfect pro card path, and we were talking about with Jamie earlier, where she strategizes with her clients. I'm going to go through strategies of how to go from being a first-time competitor through the local circuit, through the national circuit, through the pro circuit, into Olympia and all that kind of status. So I'm going to talk about different strategies and ways that you can create your own perfect path to get you to your ultimate goal. So that's what my topic is going to be, about strategy. So with that, we are to our last question of the night. And ladies that are on live with us, you can continue to ask us questions if you'd like to. Go ahead and type them into the chat, and I'll highlight them as we go along. Feel free. The last question that we have is actually for all of us to ask one question that you'd like the other speakers or the ladies that are in the chat right now to think about and answer.
I'll go first.
There you go.
So for both attendees and speakers, why? What is your why? Why are you attending, and why do you want to sew into these ladies? So that's my question. And you don't have to answer that today. That's one for you to ponder over the next few weeks. So.
Would anybody that's on our live like to answer that? Why are you attending? Why are you coming? Why are you speaking?
Because we think Sean is great, first of all.
I'm like, don't even jump at once. Go on, what'd you say?
I think that Sean, I've always kind of watched Sean from afar and thought that she was great, and very respectable in this industry. That's really important. I can tell that this event's going to be very professional, and I have a lot of respect for all the people who are involved.
I would agree. Like and not to toot my own horn, but we try to do everything as top notch as we possibly can. But we also, like you said, we bring in people that are respectable. We bring in people that you can be confident in learning from. So every year we try to make it a little bit better, and I think we succeed. So I'm looking forward to what it's like this year. Oh, and I'm getting like all these ego boosts over here. I love it. I'm gonna highlight that one. Brush my shoulder off right now. Anybody else? Anyone have a why they're doing this event? Why they're coming into it? There you go.
I would say I started okay, let me backtrack. When I got my degree in psychology, I went into it and applied thinking, okay, I want to bring the psychology aspect to fitness, but I didn't see a path for it. And then when I did the podcast, I was like, oh my gosh, why was I not bringing Build More Than Just a Body to bodybuilders? So when I applied for a master's program, I remember writing in my essay, I want to bring this to competitors. I want to bridge the gap between mental health pros and athletes. And I want to make sure that mental health pros feel equipped and confident and excited to support competitors. And I want competitors to feel they can trust mental health pros. And I think it's really unfortunate that a lot of times they are told they're actually perpetuating the black or white thinking of you're either gonna compete or you're not. And so my why is to show competitors that you can have both. I know I mentioned that earlier, but that really is the reason why I said yes to this, because any opportunity to promote that and bridge that gap is my mission. It's why I'm doing this.
Love that. Yeah, awesome. Anybody else have a why?
My why is all these incredible ladies on the screen and all you guys that are commenting and coming. It's really for me, it's the people, lots of hugs, lots of laughs, lots of fun. Like I always learn when I come to the event. So of course that's the greatest, but to be at an all women's event is super special to me, and to get to connect with other women that I respect and admire. It's amazing.
Love it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think the connections that you can make through events like this is huge. And for me, I haven't done anything since 2020. Like I used to do events like this all the time, and I really miss that connection with people. Like it's not just behind the screen, like you actually get to interact with all of us. And I'm really looking forward to learning, like again, from all of you and just meeting everybody behind the screen.
Yeah. I miss the whole COVID era, you know, took us away from that. And I love getting back to the being one-on-one, hands-on with people, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody else have a why?
For me, I've known when I've been out, I like to be able to get to some events where I'm able to give back to, you know, the up and coming, able to show them that the people that they look up to are human. Like Devin was saying, we are normal. You can talk. I love being able to do that, bridge that, you know, gap between what we see on social media, so that, you know, we're real and we have a lot to share. So I really love being able to come back and just and to just really connect.
Absolutely. You know, that's one of the pieces of feedback that we got from last year, that some of the girls were like, oh my gosh, these pros, they eat cake too. Like they like they're normal. Oh my God. Like, I can't believe it. You know? Yeah, we're normal. We eat cake.
I would say I like doing this because nothing against men, but being able to be just around women and share issues that are specific to women that we may not want to talk about in a setting where men are around because people don't feel comfortable talking about it. That's what I love about it. Like it's there's just things that we deal with as women, or things that we're just not comfortable with, and we can express that, and we don't have to be like so PC about it because it's just us there, and that's what I like about it.
100%. I actually talked about this with Celeste on her podcast, and we did that the other week. There's just things that, you know, like getting your period and stuff like that, that you can't talk about around a bunch of men. You know what I mean? Like just simple things like that make you feel like, whew, I can just let this go. I can just let this out, and just so you don't feel like you're weird. You don't feel stupid for asking questions that you can't ask in other areas, that you can't ask in other events and other places. You know what I mean? This is the place where you can ask all those questions that you're too uncomfortable to ask in other places, you know? So cool. Awesome. I think everybody gave a why. Does anybody else have a question that they would like to ask the other speakers?
I do.
Right here. There we go.
Okay, this is also for audience too. I had to write it down because it's long, so let me read it over here.
All right. Awesome.
If you only had to focus on today, knowing it would get you where you want to be in the future with peace, pride, fulfillment, what would you prioritize or commit to today?
I'll answer that one.
There you go.
I would commit to being the best at what I'm doing today. So giving it everything that I have and striving for excellence in everything I'm doing today.
Yeah.
Great
answer. Great answer. Anybody else? You want to say the question one more time, since it was a long one? Wait, one more time.
Yes, sure. I'm really notorious for long questions, so okay. If you only had to focus on today, knowing it would get you where you want to be in the future, feeling that pride and fulfillment and peace, what would you prioritize or commit to today?
Being present.
Is that Hannah? Hannah? That you were here? There we go. Say it again.
I said being present in whatever I'm doing.
I would agree with that. So to expand on that, I would say for myself, like you said, being present and really taking in everything that you're actually doing that day. I think a lot of us in today's world don't do that. We get distracted. We're on our phones. We're distracted by this, that, the other thing. We got pings on our watch from stuff coming in, social media, emails, this, that, the other thing. I know I get taken out of moments if I don't pay attention. So I think if I had to focus today on what I want, it would be to get rid of all the distractions and be present, like you said. Here's one. This is a good one. She said she would commit to stop sabotaging myself with mental critiques that are not leading me to my goals. Yes. We got a guy over here on Instagram. He said that he would commit to a goal from a male. Sorry.
That's all it
We don't
is.
think men. We just love women, right? There's a difference. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of I'd commit to myself. I'd be present, be grateful for all of you. This is from Jamie. Jamie will be there this year. There you go. What else? Anybody else got something that they wanted to add? Commit to my happiness. These are all great, you guys. Loving the answers coming in. Awesome. All right, so we'll move on to another question. Anybody else got a question they wanted to ask?
I can go.
Who was that? Sorry.
It's Hannah. Hi.
Okay, there you go.
Hi. This one's kind of a doozy. This is something that I've been working through for months, so no one has to answer this right now if you don't want to. It might require a therapist. But how?
That's why we got mental health therapy. We got that covered.
Perfect. Oh, good. We're good then. Okay. All right. How does the environment that you grew up in influence your relationship with fitness now? So your environment that you grew up in, it could be culture, it could be trauma. There's a lot of things that we went through, and they tend to play out later, and they tend to play out in our relationship with fitness. And what I found is that your relationship with fitness will hold up a mirror to your relationship with yourself. So the question was, how does the environment that you grew up in influence your relationship with fitness now? And yeah, no one has to answer, but I think it's worth us all kind of just keeping that in the back of our minds.
Yeah. Anybody like to answer? Anybody like to give a?
I'll answer that question.
There you go.
So I had some trauma when I was younger. And for me, when I found the gym and working out and feeling stronger and more in control of myself, it was a huge part of my healing. And it's really one of the big reasons I'm still here. And I'm still so passionate about this, because I feel that the gym became my therapy. And just both in terms of the endorphins and everything else that I got, but also feeling empowered that like I am in control of my body. I can change the shape. I can make it stronger. I can, all of those things that were huge for me and are definitely playing out in my life and my passion for sharing this with other people.
Yeah. Anybody else like to add something?
I love that. And just as a coach, I've seen it play out in my clients both ways. So like someone earlier mentioned self-sabotage. A lot of the time we can trace self-sabotage back to our childhood. I'm not a therapist, but I've been through it. So these are questions I like to talk about with my clients, and just kind of just tee it up for them to think about, because some of our tendencies now, good or bad, we can go way back on them and try to heal them.
I can say from my own personal experience, I mean, all of what I do today is because of what I did as a kid. You know what I mean? Like I was that overachiever. I was from an early age. I was an overachiever. I was like, I didn't know how to slow down, to the point where my parents told me I couldn't do things because they didn't have enough time to drive me to different things all the time. And that's still me today, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing in a lot of areas too. So it's like I have to be able to focus on having that balance. I think a lot of us in the fitness industry are very similar to that. I think that, that we are very goal related, very driven, very much overachievers. So, we got a few questions that came in. Actually, I wanted to highlight this one because this is something that Devin talked about last year. So she'll be able to talk with you about it at the event. We don't need to answer it tonight, but this was the question of questions for the moms. How do you balance out or deal with mom guilt or trying to prioritize your family, prep, work? I feel like I'm drowning sometimes trying to reach goal and be present. And that's kind of what I just said too about the whole overachieving thing as well. But yeah, Devin actually talked about this for her speech last year. So do you want to just touch on that a little bit, Devin? We don't have to go into huge detail on that, but just kind of sum it up for her.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is not being afraid to ask for help. I know for me, I'm someone who I feel like these are my responsibilities. Like my child is my responsibility. I mean, me and his dad are no longer together. So for a lot of the time I am like a single mom and I still work a full-time job. Plus, you know, being a pro athlete, it's a lot on have to deal with. I have a very hard time asking for help because I'm like, nope, this is all I'll be able to handle this because it's all my responsibilities. And find space to just allow people to help you because there are people there that are going to help you. You just have to ask for it. And then just learning how to balance things, learning how to not waste time. That's another big one. Like, yes, you do want to have your time where you can like sit back and do something that you enjoy, but you really need to think about like your day-to-days, like where are you wasting time? Are you scrolling through Instagram for like an hour just looking at stuff? That's wasting time. It's not productive to your goals. It's not productive to you spending time with your family. You know, it's not doing the things you want to do. So I started like the only time I would look through Instagram is when I was doing cardio because I'm stuck on the machine anyway. So that was my Instagram time. I didn't spend any other time messing with social media except for that. So I think there's a way to do it. It's really just about prioritizing and then making sure you do have to like carve out that time where it's like, okay, this is going to be just an uninterrupted family time, whether it be like once a day, once a week, something like that. And being very open with your loved ones about whenever you do get into prep and you do have less time, like, look, this is temporary. Mom's got to do this, or you're talking to your spouse, I have to do this for this amount of time. And then once you have that break, kind of making up for it, for them giving you that space to have your moment, taking a step back and giving them time for their things.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, let's go on to another question. Anybody else have a question they want to ask here on the speakers? Because we got a lot of them coming in on the chat. Keep chatting in, you guys, because the great thing about this is that when this YouTube video is done, those will all still be there. So we can go back and look at it. And again, this is what Julia was talking about. This is how we can start forming the content for you guys for the weekend too, and make sure that we cover the questions that you all have. So any other questions that the speakers would like to ask here?
I have one.
All right.
What is your least favorite thing about competing and your favorite thing about competing? Or being a competitive bodybuilder, I guess.
Julie up there laughing.
I hate dieting, y'all. I hate dieting.
I'm there with you. I hate it too.
Oh my goodness. I mean, honestly, especially as lean as we have to get for figure, like I feel like at some point you go to like a dark place. Like I don't care what anybody says, you have to like be able to push. And there's a question in the chat from Kai, I hope I said it right, Rollins. And it says, do you think having a faith belief system has helped you push? 100% yes. Like I learned the discipline to fast and pray because that was sometimes the only thing that would get me through like some really hard dieting moments. So for me in that aspect, and also I believe in supernatural strength. Like I'm like, you're going to go through it at some point during prep. Like it's going to test your every piece of your being, your patience, like everything. If you're doing it right and and you're getting to that point where you are like 100% ready for the stage. So yes, for me, I would definitely say my faith has been an integral part of me being able to push through my why, just to keep me going, especially on those darker days when things get really tough. So, yeah.
And what's your favorite thing?
The community, like this part of bodybuilding is my favorite thing. Is the community, the sisterhood backstage, forming those relationships. Like even my coach is like, I would say he's like my counselor, father. Like he's a part of my family now. So it's definitely the relationships that I've been able to build through this sport for me.
What else? Who's got a favorite and a least favorite?
A lot of things popped in my head, but the funniest thing that popped in my head was my favorite was when I woke up and I knew I got to eat breakfast. Breakfast time, yes.
Yes.
Isn't that the feeling like when you go to bed and you're starving and you're like, oh, I just gotta
That's my least favorite.
yeah, it's like I just gotta go to
Yeah.
sleep so I can eat. I gotta go to sleep so I can eat.
Yes, my least favorite is,
Yeah.
oh, I just finished all my food and now I got to get myself to sleep.
Yep. Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Agree with that?
My least favorite is definitely diet face. I hate how my face looks at the end of prep. I just look a skeleton and I can't. And my favorite thing, I think it's like that feeling of conquering prep. Like, just to back up on what everybody said, I don't know, there's just like that feeling of conquering prep that just makes you feel like you're on top of the world and you feel like you're just capable of doing anything after you do that. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Those are my two. So I have like a tie for my top two, and that is the community aspect. Absolutely is what keeps me pushing every day as my favorite part. You know what I mean? But then what you just mentioned, just knowing that you can hit that goal. Like that was the biggest thing for me. I was like, I can actually do this. Like I'm capable of doing this. If I can do this, I can do that. You know what I mean? It's bled into so much in my life. I mean, that's why this event is around, because I realize I'm capable of creating something from nothing. Because that's literally what we're doing with our bodies. We're creating something from nothing. Ooh, I'm smacking stuff. I'm getting excited over here. But it is. It's that feeling of I really am capable of creating in reality what I have in my head. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing more powerful than knowing that what you got up here can become reality. I love that.
Yeah.
What else? Who's got some favorites, some least favorites?
So
My least favorite is dieting.
favorite part. What was that? Oh,
I said my least favorite is dieting. I hate dieting. I want food.
who really likes dieting? You know, kind of get to it.
I don't know.
But my least favorite part, honestly, is the point of Friday to prejudging. Like that wait time. I literally, favorite part, having to wait. All right, got my number. I'm ready to go. Like, let's go. And probably the time. And my favorite part is the actual stage time. I love getting on stage. I love that, minute of time that I'm just jazzy fresh.
Yeah,
Love it.
That big payoff right there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like
it too. You're jazzy fresh.
What was that?
What'd you say, Jamie?
I said we love it too when you're jazzy fresh. We love every moment.
Absolutely. We all do. We had somebody earlier on the chat say that you have to do your routine at the event. Bring out that jazzy fresh.
I got you guys.
Who else? Who's got a favorite and a least favorite? Here we go.
So I love the way that it feels when I can really deeply connect with my body through this experience. There's so many challenges and so many new cues or signals, just things that I don't think you feel on a normal day-to-day basis unless you're pushing yourself at this level. So it's like a real blessing to be able to have that deep connection. I think that comes with being an athlete in general. But I really value that even in the most painful times. And I'm piggybacking off Jazzy. The patience, I think, well, I love the patience you develop in bodybuilding, like the actual building. That's great. I don't like waiting backstage and like the hurry up and wait and like you're ready and then you're like your feet are up, or maybe you like sit on your butt and then your tan's messed up and then you feel like you got to fix it because you're going on stage like in 5 seconds and then you find out it's like another hour and you already ate your pump up snack. Like those are the things that I'm like, why? Why Smith? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, put me there.
That anxiety show day. I feel you on that. Yes, absolutely. Anybody else want to add on that with their favorite or worst?
I can go.
All right.
I think it's kind of the same as what Jamie was saying, because breakfast is so wonderful that whenever I get programmed fasted cardio, I seriously want to lose it, because that means I have to wait like 45 minutes after I wake up before I can eat. So I would rather like take that 45 minutes and throw it in with like post cardio too. It's just so I can eat right when I wake up. I cannot stand fasted cardio. I will do more cardio at the end of the day if they would let me, to just not do it fasted, because that's the first thing I want is coffee and breakfast when I wake up. And
Love it.
I guess the my most favorite thing, I mean, kind of to piggyback off of you, Sean, is like just the personal growth aspect, because you're right, this bleeds into other parts of your life. It's not just bodybuilding, which is, I think, something that normal people don't understand. They look at us and they think it's like all like aesthetics and physical, and we're just worried about how we look. And really, it is really supplementing a lot more in our lives mentally than what you realize. And this bleeds over to other things and helps you deal with a lot of other things, whether it be past traumas or just issues that you have going on within yourself. Bodybuilding helps a lot of that for a lot of us.
Agree. Absolutely. Anybody else want to add on to that? All right. Well, we've been on for quite a while right here. So I want to end this out by saying, does anybody else have anything else they wanted to add that they didn't get a chance to say or didn't get a chance to talk about or anything like that? I want to leave it open to you ladies. Is there anything else you wanted to add? I want to make sure everybody got everything in. All right. Well, with that, that was awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate all of you ladies taking your time out too to do this. You know what I mean? Like, this was a theme throughout this whole podcast here of you guys saying about the whole giving back thing. And I really, truly appreciate all the time and the energy and the effort that each of you puts into this, because it is, yeah, we make a living off of stuff like this, but it's truly a passion too. There's a saying that it's not just about the money that you make in life, but it's how you make it as well. And I love the fact that we are able to do something that genuinely helps other people grow, genuinely helps other people become their best selves, genuinely helps them find that inner diva or whatever it is that needs to come out that had no other avenue of doing it. And I truly, I do. I know I don't say it enough, but I truly appreciate each and every one of you and how much effort you put into this weekend for the ladies as well. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm every year I'm blown away by the participation and by what we're able to achieve and what the ladies coming in can do. It's just amazing to me how much they can blossom throughout the year. It's just incredible to see all of that. So I get a whole lot of blessing out of it myself. I really do. So selfishly, I get a lot of blessing out of it. Anything else anybody wanted to add before we finish out for this evening? I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to say what they'd like to say.
I'll just say I really appreciate you, Sean, and all the work you put into this, because I know this, like, you plan and you work so hard all year to put this on, and I'm really grateful for being a part of it, and I'm very excited to see everybody who's going to be there, attendees and speakers. I'm excited. There's some new faces that we haven't seen there before, and I can't wait to hear what they have to say just, all the learning that's going to come from it. So just wanted to say thank you to Sean and how much I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys.
If you're on the fence, just go ahead and jump over. Just go ahead. You're not gonna miss out. I mean, you're not going. It's gonna be something special to you. So just go ahead and.
We didn't even talk about all the fun stuff that like also happens beyond the emotional stuff. Like we got a mixer in the middle there, little tweets, have a little grand old time, talk and get to know each other. We're all like, yay! You know what I'm saying?
Dancing on the party bus, the hookah lounge, all that.
It's so much fun. Yes. Love it. I
We
can't
have a
wait.
great time. And that's the first
girls weekend. Yeah.
The first thing that we do when we walk in is, you get all your stuff, you check in and everything, but then we have the cocktail mixer. That's the very first thing that we do, so everybody can get to know each other real quick. real quick. We got girls doing the worm down the freaking in the wrist. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. A lot of good girl time. So anything else anyone wanted to mention before we close out for tonight? All right. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log off of Instagram so I can get that down. And that'll go up. And then that's it. We're done. I appreciate you guys. Everyone that stuck with us this whole live feed too. I appreciate everything. Keep those comments coming. When this video goes back up live on YouTube, you can go back and watch it. And you can add in more comments because then we can go back and read them as well and make sure that we're incorporating all of that when we go to plan for the topics for the weekend and everything too. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. We might do another one of these, before the weekend. We've got a few months to go yet. So if you're on the fence, we have 4 early bird tickets left, and that's it. We have 4 left. That's it. So link is in the bio of this YouTube description box here. There, you can't miss it. If you're on Instagram, it's in my bio on there. And one of us can give it to you if you don't have it. So thank you guys so much. And good night. I'm going to end the stream out here. Bye.